What's up, everyone? Dr. Nicole and Dr. Nick here this time. I had my two solos, as we've been navigating the chaos of two children and, all that fun stuff. So, we are bringing you a short, sweet, and heated topic. This is actually something that I was sharing with Dr. Nick this morning around a conversation had, and uh, the theme is choose your challenge
Wisely.
wisely. And I'll give you the backstory, which will, kind of lead into just some of the highlights and words of wisdom that we have for you. But working with a family, one of the kids is struggling with pretty significant health issues, based on conventional medicine, an incurable condition. And the conversation was opened up because this world of integrative medicine is all very, very, very new to this family. They have not necessarily embarked on doing any type of detox, healthy eating, etc., which is not our average clientele. Usually a lot of our clients have dabbled and now they're looking for a more integrative and comprehensive approach. But these people were aligned in different ways, and we said, okay, let's see what we can do. So we're very well aware that a lot of what we're introducing to them is very foreign and very new, but they're still very open-minded. But the natural question that happens, and this is even for people that are seasoned in the world of functional medicine, integrative medicine, and not, is, you know, how long am I going to do this? Like, how long will I, do these types of protocols or use certain detox therapies or supplements? And, will I ever get to a place where I don't need any of it? And it sparked kind of a two-part conversation. But the first part of the conversation was, in this current moment, like, let's just talk about the now, let's talk about the present, is that you need to choose your challenge, because no matter what you choose, there's challenges. I go, you chose the challenge that is going to be more likely to yield a better outcome. You chose to do things that are out of your knowledge base and comfort zone, from administering different types of red light, infrared, lymphatic detox therapies with your child, to, making smoothies and putting different supplementation in there to help with recovery. You're doing mindset work, not only as your child, but also the parents are doing mindset work. Like, this is all a bit of a challenge. It's all new. It's outside of the comfort zone. And it was also not something that the parents sought out for themselves. They're doing it for their child, which is also a bit of a different scenario. And so I said, I understand that this is all challenging, but the challenge is to yield the outcomes that you desire, which is having a healthy child and a healthy family dynamic. I go, so you could also choose a different challenge, which is rely on medication. But the challenge that you might not be thinking about in that context is, if you just want to band-aid the situation through the medications, which will never cure, they will only manipulate biochemical levels, you are now creating the opportunity for a different challenge: bad behavior, inability to focus, other diseases that manifest because of the foundational issue continuing to cause more problems. Angry child tantrums due to neurological inflammation, coming home, disrupting the family dynamic, maybe getting pulled out of school because he can't operate, concentrate. Maybe he needs to go to a special type of school where he has more assistance. Like, choose your challenge, because no matter what you choose, there's going to be a challenge. So you might as well choose the challenge that's going to lead you down a path of better outcomes.
Yeah, I think listening to you, the one major theme, hence the title, is people try to live a one-sided life and they want to live a life of only support, which would be the opposite of challenge. And if you live a supported life, which, A, wouldn't really be fun if that's what we had. Um, but if you think about it, it's like there would be no growth. And if there's no growth, there's decay. So So if you have too much support, even though like maybe that's a fantasy we've been sold through social media, through, etc., is that life is going to be easy. And I'm so fucking tired and so stressed and I'm burnt out and I can't, don't, it's not that I can't, I say I can't, but then I wake up and I go through it again. So you can. I don't want to do it again. Like Groundhog's Day over and over and over. It's just like, I'm over this challenge. Well, great. Be over that challenge because that challenge isn't inspiring. That challenge is beating you down.
Yep.
We live in a world of duality. We're always going to have support and we're always going to have challenge, but the challenge is perceived greater than the support when it doesn't serve us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the wise part of the title, Choose Your Challenge Wisely, is you can't escape challenge, but and even if it serves you, what's most important to you, it's connected to your top values, it can still be very challenging. It can still be very painful. But as long as that pain and as long as that challenge is connected to what's most important to you, then it's inspiring. And that takes me to, you said incurable.
Mm-hmm.
Incurable. Well, if you break it down, the cure is within.
Mm-hmm.
It's not externally. You're not taking a medicine and you're not doing these things. You're not taking, I mean, even to get really to the depths of it, it's like supplements, vitamins, herbs, detox. That's all to support the body, which is great because, a body is a third of what we are, a body, a mind, and a spirit. But those are just tools to serve what we truly are, a soul.
Mm-hmm.
And we need the challenge and we need the support to give us feedback through the body, how well it's functioning, through the mind, how balanced it is, through the spirit. Are we inspired? Are we like feeling gratitude, thankfulness, and love for the opportunities through the challenge and through the support, through the benefits and through the drawbacks that's given to us? Or, and this is people get caught up to, well, I'm not motivated anymore. Well, motivated is an external thing outside of us. And soon
Yeah,
as the
motivated
pain,
is rooted in I need to, I have to, I should.
yeah, and soon as that pain, guess what, is too big, motivation's not strong enough,
Yep.
which just shows you that the challenge isn't connected wisely. It's the wrong challenge, or you haven't connected the dots of how to use the challenge to best serve yourself. Hence your famous quote, it's not what you do, but how you do it is the most important.
I want to kind of do I want to piggyback off of what you said, and then I also want to give people some really insightful things to think about that will help you understand. Because a lot of times people can listen to this and they're like, I don't know what's most important to me. I don't know what my values are. And you have to understand is that if that's the situation, then one, you have not spent enough time thinking about what fucking matters to you. Like you're living a life of probably serving and pleasing a lot of other people, and you're living a life of what you should be and what you should do and what you need to do and what you have to do according to what your parents said, your professor said, your religion said, your society said, your neighbor said, etc. So
And
it,
and I'm gonna one more thing because that's all true, but we also live in a world today where it's just distraction, distraction, distraction. It's like
yes.
if there's any free moment, now you're on your phone and you go right to social media, or you're looking at text, or you're checking emails, or you're like, there's
People
always something
don't
to be
fucking
doing.
realize like how this is fucking us up in such a giant, giant capacity. And it's like we're business owners and we've felt compelled like we have to be on social media. We have to be on every platform. We have to do this. We have to do that. And it's like, you don't have to do shit. Even if you want to run a business, the most successful businesses are the ones that are built on trust and reputation, and it's not built off of your social media following. But it's like we get fed this lie that you have to be on it, which is, in my opinion, all part of an agenda to keep us super fucking distracted. Because if you're playing the game of always looking at what's happening around you, what's happening in your industry, what are the other families doing, what do they have, how do they celebrate their holidays, then you're always you're so out of touch with what actually matters to you, to your family, to your business, to your mission and purpose in the world because you're so fucking distracted by what other people are doing. And it doesn't matter. It's going to keep you so trapped, and it's going to keep you out of your uniqueness, and it's going to keep you so far away from the impact you can truly make on your family and on the world. When I played that game of, what's my competition doing? Market research. I wasn't able to be who I am. I wasn't able to speak my truth. I wasn't able to curate a company according to what I wanted it to be, which actually is different, which will then stand out amongst others. And
Yeah.
so it's just the distraction is so significant, and we're putting these phones and these tablets and these computers in front of kids at such young ages. And for those of you that are in your late 30s, 40s and upward, like you remember the days when, you if you had one TV in the house and it was in the living room and mom and dad were using it, there was nothing to fucking do. There was no distraction of a video game or a phone or anything. So you went out, you socialized, you connected with people, you created fucking memories. What kid, when they're 50 years old, is gonna be like, my best memory is when I played that video game and I won? Like, that's not what they're remembering. They're remembering, their friends and the wild shit that they did and when they got in trouble. And they're remembering, family events that were awesome. And it doesn't mean that you have to take your kids on vacations that are multi thousands of dollars. Some of the best memories can be sitting around a bonfire laughing until you pee your pants.
You
So
know,
listen to my last podcast that I
well,
did.
last night, we don't do it every night, but we try to go through and everybody says what they're grateful for most part of the night.
Yeah.
And, I had in mind what I was going to say, but then it changed because out of nowhere, you like rung the
Yeah.
doorbell of
Of
Quentin's belly button, and his laugh was so hysterical. Like you can't, you cannot experience joy in that moment listening to that laugh. And that was like, well, that reset my answer of the best moment of my day. What am I most grateful for? It
And
was
it's
just
funny
his
that
laughter.
you say this because I think that this is going to really circle everything together. So, for those of you that have known us for a long time, we had a very large brick and mortar business in New Jersey, 6,000 square feet. At our peak, we had 25 employees. We had hundreds of different clients coming through our doors. And, there's probably still a lot of you that knew that version of us that are like, why did they do what they did? Why did they close the brick and mortar? Why did they move to Italy? Why do they have this new virtual telehealth, concierge model? Like, and the catalyst was our son. And the main thing was that I kept thinking about how I didn't want to be the parent that wasn't present because I was so overwhelmed and distracted by the stressors and the energy demands of the business, because the energy demands of the business were very big. The energy needed to, be the leader of the company and lead my employees, the energy to being the best doctor I could be to all of my clients. And I gave my energy to all of those important things. And then when I started a family, I knew that I didn't want to not be able to ding dong my kid's belly button because I was so distracted thinking about all the shit that I needed to do. And our daughter is awake, so she's going to probably join us.
He's just chilling right now.
So, a couple of things that I want you guys to really think about is life is not easy, but life is also not hard. It doesn't have to be hard because exactly what we were talking about, and I think Dr. Nick and I said it in two different ways, is that if you're embarking on hard, but it's for your ideal outcome of what you want your life to look like, then you have the energy and the inspiration to keep fucking going.
It's worth it. And that sounds simple, but like just think about the word worth. Either something has a shit ton of value to or it doesn't.
Mhm.
So if that obstacle, if that challenge, it has extreme worth, it's your gold. Well, guess what? You're not going to stop because it's
Mhm.
worth it.
Yep.
if you're gonna just sit and complain and nag and have a million excuses, well, the challenge actually doesn't have the amount of worth connected to it. And the fun thing is that on the human behavior side, you can change the mind's perception to increase your relationship with worth, with something's value. And or you can decide that's not worth it and create a new challenge and connect because the pain's going to be pain doesn't leave us and connect the challenge, connect the pain to something that actually is worth it. So it's just
I think the
constantly taking life as a feedback mechanism
yes.
and reevaluating it. But that's the, not to cut you off one more time, but that's when we have those pauses in life in the space, that's in history when we have time to reflect, we have time to think.
Yes.
There's no reflection time, there's no thinking time anymore. And for most people, it's only
Reactivity.
when they meditate. And meditation's so hard because the brain's not ever trained to self-reflect because you're constantly checking social media and everything else.
Yes. And I think that the biggest thing that I've learned over my 40 years is challenge life is a series of challenges to learn from and to grow from. And exactly what you just said is if you look at it from the perspective of all these things are happening to me, my life is very unfortunate, I have a series of bad luck, it's a fucking lie. That's not what's happening. It's a feedback mechanism to tell you where you need to reroute, where you need to redirect, where you need to realign. And so reacting to your challenges is just making the problem so much fucking bigger and so much fucking worse. If you look at whatever it is as this is just a simple redirection, this pain that I'm experiencing is redirecting me to a different path, and you have enough time to really think it through, that's where the magic is going to happen. And if you want a simple tool, is if you think about the things that you do or embark on that give you energy even in your most tired moments, that and you can maybe these are hobbies that you have, maybe these are creative things that you have, maybe you have a Pinterest board where you go and you design, your perfect new house or your perfect new living room, or these are little like side projects that you do, things that you would do for free, aka no one would ever have to pay you for, because you just love it. You love it so much. And you have to think about those things. Those are the things that are rooted in inspiration for you. And those are the things that are going to lead you down a path of starting to curate the life that you really, really love, because you're more in an energy of I'm doing things out of inspiration opposed to doing all the things that I need to, should to, have to, which is all rooted in desperation. So really start to think about those things. And listen, you're not going to think about it for 24 hours and then you're going to be like, "Oh my God, I have my life figured out." We have this practice that we think about these things every single day, and we've been doing it for years now. And we have new insights that help to, I don't want to say redirect, but it helps to shift the direction of where we're going. It helps
Just
us get
evolution.
100%. And it gives us a little bit more clarity around what we're working for or what we're working towards. And sometimes even our team that we currently have, they know us so well now and they know that it's part of the process, but it's like some people are like, "We just want to focus on one thing and just go on that." And I'm like, but that's not how life works. You don't just, right now say, "This is my end point," and it never shifts again. Because guess what? You shift as a person. The environment shifts, society shifts, economy shift, everything shifts. So it requires you to also shift and pivot at certain times. So it's an ever evolving process. So the biggest takeaways is understand that life is a series of challenges. Life is not meant to just be easy. Life is a series of challenges, but those challenges are there to help you learn, gain wisdom, and grow from it. And to redirect your life in a life that is more rooted in inspiration instead of desperation of all the things you should, need to, have to.
Amen, girl.
And I will say that the last podcast that I did solo, really ties into everything we're talking about. So if you really vibe with this one and you want a little different perspective or even more tools, go listen to the podcast that we just posted about why people actually hit plateaus in their healing process, even honestly in their business process, and how to overcome them. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.